Hello, Rabbi Akiva. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Daniel? Still in a hotel in Israel in
Right.
quarantine.
Well, as you can see, I haven't really gotten out much. So,
But honestly, I always have the same background. Like, I might be in quarantine in my office.
yeah, okay. It's not really the same. Does food get dropped off at your door three times a day?
That'd be great. I mean, can you text
You
Connie?
think, you think all these things are great.
Open to it. No, God forbid. No, I don't do that. All right.
Quite a bit. Welcome back to the Schmooze.
Schmooze.
The Schmooze time. This week's Schmooze, we are so excited to welcome Camp Nageela director Rabbi Dani Locker on today's Schmooze. It's going to be an amazing episode, and we are tremendously grateful and appreciative for their sponsorship of today's episode. Please go visit their website, nageelawest.org. See about the Jewish camping opportunity that exists even on the West Coast. Who'd have thought Jewish life on the West Coast? But Rabbi Dani Locker is going to tell us all about it today.
Okay, first of all, we have about 100,000 Jewish kids living in just California. So what's up? Second of all, no, that was it. That's enough points. Camp, yes, thank you, Nageela West, Rabbi Locker. We're so excited to have him on in a few minutes. Stay tuned for that schmoozing. I don't know if I mentioned to you, Daniel, because this has become a thing that I start up with a random. I don't know if I'll ever top my Australian lottery winning story because it's easily the best story I've ever said. But do you know that I rap?
You don't rap. That's
wow. No. Okay, it's just got awkward for you. But I had I recorded a song this week. I mean, we didn't produce it yet, but we finished the lyrics, and we're going to record it for real. I actually did 2 songs this week. One is not a rap.
Now, see, like, it's one thing if you're going to lie, but now you're pushing the point. Like, I did 2 songs this week, and I've already got a record deal, and we're going to the studio.
I wrote one song I'd already written over the summer, and I recorded it this week with a friend of mine, with Tani Polanski from Tefillah Music. And then it was 11 p.m. at night, literally, maybe even 11:30, and we were just schmoozing. Again, I'm sorry, I schmooze with other people, and I was like, one of my dreams has been to, like, I've recorded a bunch of songs and, like, written a bunch of songs, but never done any, like, a real music video, and it's always been my dream to do one, like an actual. And I'm like, oh my gosh, should we just be stupid, crazy, irresponsible and spend the next 2.5 hours doing this? He's like, yeah, let's do it. He was getting on a plane in a few hours, and I was like, and I had work the next day, and I did it. It's amazing. It's really good.
So are you going to keep us in suspense, or, like, I would love to hear this.
For real?
I mean, I'm already here. What's
on the schmooze? Okay.
I imagine there's no harm in doing so, but I could be completely wrong.
It's really long. I mean, it's a whole song. Let me. Okay. Here, I'll take this verse. You listening? Okay, but okay. There's no. I can't do this. There's no beat. Like, I have the beat ready, but okay, fine. I'll do it. Here we go. Yeah. You'll be able to figure out what the song's about from this verse. Here we go. There was a time when the most you'd see in a window was a menorah on Hanukkah. Too often now you see the remnants of a spray-painted swastika. Impossible, not our show. It's horrible, abominable. This phenomenon should shock us still, but no shock when you hear daily reports of anti-Semitic retorts, Jew hatred in sports, courts ruling for BDS support, terrorism still rampant, places of worship need an escort. If all you can do is update your status when people with guns are coming at us, when the time really comes and they're coming to attack us, what then? Okay.
Yeah, so another love song. Wow, I'm so excited. But no, okay, all right, I'll give it to you. That was
good. That was one of my favorite verses from the song.
Gee, it usually means a lot more when other people tell you it's good.
No, I have a lot of self-confidence. The song is actually possibly an overabundance. It's very much inspired by Masha Merkulova. In our interview with her about, like, Yala kvar dai, like, enough, like, let's.
She's not Israeli, she's European. But
I know, but she has an accent. So anyone who has an accent is like, she's Russian. She's not European. And, like, I mean, the chorus of the song is all about standing up. It's all just about, like,
right.
Not being.
All right, Rabbi, I'll give you that one. That shoots. Now I kind of feel bad about, like, okay, well, I'll get over it, like, very quickly.
The schmooze will cover it. Help you get over that.
The Schmooze will cover it. Exactly. On different notes, like when we focus so often about the horrors going on, the tragedies that we're facing, and all these terrible headlines. But something you might not have seen in the headlines this week: Morocco and Bhutan announcing peace with Israel, like normalization of ties. And I don't know if you like zero coverage. Like this is not like
I know that's what I'm so bothered by.
But it's unbelievable. I have to tell you, it's like I'm on the news feeds all day. Twitter is great for this because there are people who will like just commit themselves to talking about certain topics. So if you're interested in those topics, you follow those thought leaders. Right. So on Twitter, it's like the action that the Emirati world, like the Arab world, is so excited to be here. It happens to be an Emirati delegation lit the Chanukiah at the Kotel last night.
That's
and people are giving them, like, at the Kotel, a standing ovation. I mean, like, there's no place to sit, so it's obviously a standing ovation. But like everyone, like with their phone, like everyone is so excited about the prospect of peace. And to think about, I teach about Israel advocacy, little known fact. So
really,
I know it's a shock. Maybe I should come out there and talk about it.
Well, if I'm gonna rap, maybe you should give a little Israel advocacy sermon real quick. No?
Okay, yeah, that seems exactly the same thing. But to think, we talk about peace in the abstract so often. Like we could never really point to it because our peace with Egypt isn't like, it's not a real peace. The Israelis are not going to Egypt.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like we have these official peace treaties, but they didn't like. It means we're not going to go to war with each other. It's not a warm peace. Now you finally have this warm peace. They just announced they're going to start flights directly to and from Morocco. Like. These are unprecedented times. I can't even tell you how, like, I'm so excited. Now that I'm an Israeli, even more so. But I'm not really Israeli. Like, I'm officially Israeli. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not Israeli. Let's be perfectly clear. I wear this. Israelis don't wear this. Like,
it's the collar. Israelis tuck their collar in.
That's not it. Israelis
they actually do, though. That's the difference. As someone who's an expert in fashion.
Okay. But peace in our days. Peace in our days. We say like we're living it. It's unbelievable. I'm absolutely blown away by this. And as entertaining and amazing your rap life is, it's I can't sleep at night. This is so exciting to me. And like God willing, other countries are. We thought like when the UAE signed, when Bahrain signed, it's like, all right, this like unbelievable. But what's the next we're gonna see? And like country after country, Sudan was a terrorist nation that was like helping Iran transport weapons to our enemies. Like I'm blown away.
Do you think Saudi Arabia?
It's the dream. It's like
because that would be crazy. Like that would be like wow.
So the working theory is that like all these countries would not have normalized ties with Israel without Saudi Arabia's approval. So like Saudi Arabia controls the bloc. Like either you're on the Iran side of things or you're on the Saudi Arabia side of things. So it's like it's and their report, like Netanyahu went to Saudi, like met with the crown prince. Like there's definitely movement being made. Unclear if we're gonna see like formalized ties, but it's super exciting. I don't know. I can't get over it.
Hashem is leading the world somewhere. Hopefully it's towards peace. That's what it seems to be.
Right. Or Camp Nageela West this summer.
Equally exciting. Let's bring in Rabbi Locker. Let's go. Welcome, Rabbi Locker.
All right. Hello.
So good to have you on.
Welcome to the Schmooze. Where are you? You're always everywhere. I guess not so much during COVID. Where are you calling us from right now? Where are you zooming in from?
I am zooming in from a pickle juice state of mind, but if you're looking for a geographic location, it's Las Vegas, Nevada, which has been my home for the last 13 years.
Wow. Where were you before that?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, believe it or not. Brooklyn, I don't know if you can tell the accent, but from the hometown.
What brings a good Brooklyn boy to Las Vegas, the city of sin?
Not sure what good Brooklyn.
I think you just answered your own question.
My answer is actually different than you might expect. What brings me to Las Vegas is Jews.
Pickle Jews.
There are Jews in Las Vegas.
Pickle Jews, exactly. But no, there are
Pickles.
Thank you, Akiva. There are plenty of Jews in Las Vegas, and when I first moved out here, there was really not a whole lot in terms of Jewish infrastructure. So I came out here really to help with Jewish youth outreach, where I worked during the year with Junior NCSY. But primarily, it's about the summer immersive Jewish experience in Camp Nageela West, which I started 12 summers ago.
Incredible. Well, it's so funny you mentioned Camp Nageela West because they happen to be on the banner floating right underneath it. What are the odds are
Hey, Akiva, if I believed in odds, I would live in a place like Vegas.
Ooh,
wow.
Took me a second. I thought you were going to make an even joke. Yeah. So we have Rabbi Dani Locker here, zooming in from Las Vegas. I know he just came back from Utah yesterday. Thank you so much for making the time to come on the show. And thank you, of course, for sponsoring the show. Today's show is sponsored, like we had said earlier, by Camp Nageela West. And I got to say, I could not have Shabbat meal in my personal family. Okay, I've got 5 kids. We do not have Shabbat without the Camp Nageela West magazine. They come out with a weekly magazine. It's printable. You can get it emailed yourself. We print it every single Friday afternoon, and our show is right there with our. We've got the challah, we've got the grape juice, and we've got the Camp Nageela West magazine, complete with relatable, kid-friendly Dvar Torah's jokes, mind-blowing thoughts, happy birthday wishes. If you're not already on the email list of Rabbi Locker, make sure you do so because it's Camp Nageela is not only a summer program, only a summer camp. It's something that you have throughout the year. I've sent students from personally over here in Northern California who have gone to your camp, Rabbi Locker, as you know, and have had just the most incredible, transformative summer of their lives. So you know what? Let's just dive right in. Before even specific to Nageela West, we're diving. Here we go. What is it about Jewish camps? Why are educators always talking about Jewish camps? Why did you move to Vegas and start a Jewish camp? What's so great about Jewish camps?
Okay, Jewish camp. Wow. This is my favorite topic of all time. Okay, Jewish camps are actually the best thing since Jewish camps. I don't know if that made any sense. I was going to say sliced bread, but Jewish camps are much better than sliced bread because here we go. Most people think of Judaism in terms of a synagogue or a temple or a Jewish school. And while those are very highly educational religious experiences, they don't get kids excited or interested. No kid ever has walked into a synagogue and been like, whoa, this is so cool. I want this for my family. Now, they might appreciate it. And they learn there, and I'm not bashing. I'm the rabbi in the ticker over there, right where my finger is. But for a kid or a teen, they need something that's a little more user-friendly that helps them appreciate the fun, the excitement of what being Jewish is all about.
I hear that.
Okay, I can get behind that. That's it happens to be. Rabbi, I'm going to take this in a little bit more of a skeptical approach. Why Nageela? There's so many Jewish camps, and Rabbi Akiva and I have this conversation of like the Jewish world is just constantly competing against itself. We create new startups and that are the exact same thing as other things that already exist, and we call it innovative. So why is Nageela that innovative touch? Certainly, Las Vegas is new. The West Coast is component definitely caught my eye. But what is it about Nageela that just makes it different and makes it the go-to destination for?
Thank you, Daniel. So first, to speak to your first point, I speak to many different Jewish camp directors, and we do not compete at all. We don't view it as competition because there are 100,000 kids, who are on the West Coast who are completely unengaged in any camp. What?
100,000 Jewish kids in the West Coast?
And there's probably a lot more than that. There's probably 100,000 Jewish kids in California, but who are not engaged in anything. So every single Jewish camp that exists can fill up and overflow, and we still wouldn't be reaching all the Jewish kids. So we really don't compete. We really view each other as helping each other, and everyone has a different niche. So there are camps that are specialty sports camps, and those are great for kids who just want to play sports. What sets the Nageela apart, listen, of course I think my camp is the best camp because
it is.
I do everything that I think will make camp the best. But any Jewish camp is great. What sets us apart is our staff. We have, first of all, by far the highest staff to camp ratio in any camp. Parents will be happy to hear that because it means their kids have great supervision, great role modeling. Kids are happy to hear that because it adds so much to the pump factor, the excitement of these loud, fun, exciting staff members. We have about a 1 to 2 staff to camper ratio, where other camps usually are 1 to 4, 1 to 5.
Wow. I mean, I run camps and we have 1 to 5 and I boast about it. So 1 to 2, that's insane. That's amazing.
Wow. That's it also happens to be the stories of the noise level in Camp Nageela buildings has reached even, well, I'm in Israel now, but back when I was on the East Coast, geez, I cannot keep track of the time zones. But they used to say Nageela just brings the energy. And I didn't really know what that meant because everybody thinks they bring the energy. Like, it's camp, it's not school. You know, kids aren't like sitting at their desk. But what does that mean that camp is such an energetic environment? So
it brings to mind a story. The fellow named Scott, who was visiting from one of the Jewish federations, and at that point we had about 30 campers in our camp, and he walks into our dining room while we were in the middle of lunch, and we were always singing and dancing and doing all kinds of stuff. He walks in, "What do you have? About 200 kids?" So it sounds like. Some camps are more chill, and people like to kick back and do their own thing. Our philosophy is constant energy and constant motion and constant activity. There's not a whole lot of downtime. We want the kids to always be engaged, to always, we have staff members sitting and thinking, we have a whole schedule planned for tomorrow. What can we do to pick it up to the next level? How can we kick it up another notch and just make it a little more crazy, a little more goofy? Because, goofiness and funny, that's what makes Jewish camp great. Kids doing things that they're not necessarily wouldn't have been comfortable with, that they're expanding their comfort zone a little bit. Like, we did this summer, we did a mud run. All these city kids who never dream of getting dirty at all. And we gave them brand new white t-shirts right before the mud run. And we all ended up just in this big muddy pond, slicking mud in each other's faces. And it was the best day because they're just doing things that are different and unusual and out of their norm during the year.
I'm sorry, Daniel.
I would never. I just can't.
You're invited. I challenge you, Daniel.
Okay.
I challenge Daniel. Okay, I think everyone listening should now challenge Daniel to go and do it.
I don't think I will, but thank you so much for the offer. I like my. Okay, we're not going to get into this. Sounds like a great program for everybody else.
Rabbi Locker. I have a question. So you said you have this high staff. So how are you finding staff if you have such a high staff ratio? What is that? And do the staff just come in for the summer? Is it like, do we have other things during the year? What does that look like in terms of the staff and the kids?
So the truth is, most camps, very large camps, how do you staff such a large camp? Most camps are actually going to hiring fairs or college campuses, and they're checking out the staff and doing their due diligence. But it's a little frightening when you're entrusting your children to adults to watch over them. So every staff member in Camp Nageela, we don't do camp job fairs. We don't do classified ads or offer up or Craigslist. Every single staff member is either, that would be really frightening.
That would be
there. Interviews.
Yeah, use 10-speed bike and camp staff position. Slightly eaten pickle.
ABC pickles.
Yeah. Every single staff member we have in camp is either someone I know personally or knows someone I know personally. So that when we entrust our children, I'm talking to parents here, and we entrust our children to adults and to the camp, they're all people I know. They're all people I would trust my kids with, and I do trust my kids with, because my kids are excited and happy campers in Camp Nageela West as well.
Wow. So it's much more than a camp. It's a family. It's something that you come in, and this is just part of your life throughout the entire year and just forever. It's a formative part of your life.
It absolutely is. And the staff members really interact with the children and develop long-term, lifelong relationships with them. It's very common that they'll fly out for a bar bat mitzvah.
Really?
They'll fly out to visit kids. They text them. They call them. they interact with them all the time, and they really do develop long-term relationships with them.
Camp Nageela West, everybody. So let's get back. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. So who is this camp for? What grades? Is it anywhere? Where they're coming from? How does all of that work?
Okay, so our campers start generally in about 3rd grade and go up to coming out of 10th grade, and it's a bell curve. The largest group is about 12 to 14 years old. They really come from everywhere. One quick story: we had a camper came from Utah a number of years ago, and our campus is in Utah. And this girl came, and on her application, it asks if the camper is Jewish, and it said no, she's not Jewish, but her mother is born Jewish. Okay, and this girl is a practicing Mormon, lives in Utah, and the family is practicing Mormon. But she knew that because her mom was born Jewish, she wanted to have some kind of Jewish experience.
Wow.
And by the end of that summer, during the summer, like we would do, she would, one of the staff members was praying, and she'd be like, well, can we do the Mormon prayers now? Now we do the Jewish prayers. And by the end of the summer, she came over and she said, I am such a proud Jew now. Thank you for making me a Jew.
Wow.
We didn't make her a Jew, but we helped this girl realize that she is a Jew. And there are so many Jews out there who are disconnected from Judaism. And really, the primary target audience, I guess you could say, of Camp Nageela West are people who really are underengaged. Kids who don't have that much Jewish education. Maybe they have a Hebrew school education. Maybe they had a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. Many of them did not. Most don't read Hebrew. And whatever demographic they come from, Nageela gives them the energy, the excitement, and a little bit of knowledge to be able to say, this is really cool, and I want to learn more about being Jewish. If my family belongs to a temple, I want to connect more to it. If my family doesn't belong, maybe I want to find one. And I want to be a Jewish adult, and I want my kids to grow up Jewish. And we've actually even had kids whose parents went to Nageela back in New York, the original Nageela, and, well, I'm sending my kids to Jewish camp or Jewish day school now because I had that experience.
Wow. So what is I imagine your Utah story is not the classic Nageela participant. So what is for your average participant, and whatever that looks like, what is the takeaway message? Are these kids who are they generally not affiliated, and are we pushing basic affiliation? Like and I don't think, and not from the agenda perspective, like we're making sure we drill in these points, because I think camp is more just immersive, and whatever you take away from it is because of those experiences. But Rabbi Locker, when you're sitting down with your rather vast team of all-star staff, what's the takeaway? What are we trying to accomplish in the summer?
So there's a general takeaway, and then there's specifics. So the general takeaway from the summer is for every child to leave camp, number one, healthy and safe. Number one priority. I mean, that's step one.
I can get behind that goal.
That's the goal. Listen, my staff knows if a kid is going to grow Jewishly but break their arm, it's not a successful summer, right? You got to keep them safe first. That's number one. Number two is to give them the most off-the-hook fun summer. And number three is we want them to leave camp more excited about Judaism and more knowledgeable about Judaism than they were before. And that's it. That's the general goal. It's not a specific goal because every child is different. For some children, that goal might be to help them really want to have a bat mitzvah, which they weren't going to do before. And for some children, they are in a Jewish day school, but they were really struggling. They weren't happy, and now they're happy about it. And for some children, like this girl I mentioned before, it's just knowing that they're Jewish and being proud of it.
Wow. So it's definitely multifold, but it's definitely great. I particularly, having been in a summer camp this past summer and breaking my arm, I definitely appreciate that first point.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it was an experience, no doubt. But
did you grow Jewishly, Daniel? Was it worth it?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything, Akiva. But
I can give you a hand if you need. All right, but where does the general keep his armies?
In his sleeves.
Hey, Rabbi Locker, you want to make a show with me? We should.
How are there more people like you? I don't get this.
We did that for a little while.
Oh yeah, we totally did.
Good. That was a lot
All
of
right,
fun.
well, I honestly and this is Rabbi Locker said this earlier, and we're just going to wrap this up. Sending your kid to Camp Nageela West, and if you're a kid watching this, going to Camp Nageela West, you're just going to have the best summer ever. You're going to have an incredible summer, and you're going to grow. You also gain independence when you go to camp and you're away from your family, and you get to learn new skills. And there's this crazy opportunity that you get in camp that you get at no other time during the year, where they have this brand new technology where you can text with people without phones. It exists only at Camp Nageela West. Yep. You can text. You can actually even video chat with people without your phone, without Zoom or anything. Yeah,
and we have something better than a virtual background.
What would that be?
It's grass, trees, and live animals.
How can you afford such incredible high-end technology?
Pretty amazing. And it's only in Camp Nageela West in the incredible northern Utah. By the way, that's the correct name for the state.
Yeah,
it is now. And yeah, it's a great experience. And by the way, for people watching the Schmooze, I don't know if you knew this, but there is a special $250 Nageela West discount for people who sign up for camp within the next week and mention the Schmooze.
I didn't even know that.
That's everyone here.
Well, we're all learning stuff today. Thank you, Rabbi Locker, for coming on the show. You guys heard that $250 discount. Sign up in the next week and mention the Schmooze. Make sure you get that discount and sign up. Camp, and the link is right here at NageelaWest.org. Rabbi Locker, thank you for coming on.
So good.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Love what you did here. We're not that good.
You guys do. It's a pleasure schmoozing with you, and hope to do it again soon. And please have a Nageela day.
Wow.
Yeah. I told you that was equally exciting to peace in the Middle East.
Those weren't your exact words.
That's what I meant.
Okay, I can get behind it. It's really amazing. And just as I like on the Schmooze, when we were creating this talk show, whatever this is, I like how we partner with people like Rabbi Locker.
Right.
In essence, I really didn't know about Nageela West, and then I met Rabbi Locker, and I want to sign up. So I think that's
all over again.
There you go.
No, but honestly, you've been involved in the camp world for years. I've been involved in the camp world for years. I mean, we see it. There is a black and white difference for Jewish teens who have gone to Jewish camp and of Jewish teens who have not gone to Jewish camp. I mean, it contributes so powerfully to your Jewish identity as a kid, as a teenager, and it literally affects the rest of your life, right? Like he was saying, parents are sending their kids to Nageela West because they went to Nageela West, and it's just you got to keep that tradition alive. Summer camp, Jewish summer camp, is where it happens, and there's no place better than Nageela West.
Right. My family used to say, there was a time I went to Jewish community school and then went to public school, whatever. It's a whole long story. But my mother used to say, I will sooner give up the Jewish community school than I will giving up going to Jewish camp. It was just, it's such an immersive environment. When you talk about values being all encompassing, and in a fun experience, camp memories are the memories that stick with you.
Right.
Maybe your Gemara share memories not as much, or maybe they do, depending on the reasoning. But it's really just Jewish camp is, when we talk about innovation in the Jewish world, it's definitely not new, but it is something that has innovated education and just the way Jews connect to Judaism.
Again, thank you to Nageela West for sponsoring. Visit them at NageelaWest.org. We're going to be putting up a whole lot of exciting. They have a upcoming info session. Again, if you sign up within 1 week of watching the show and mention the Schmooze, $250 off. That's a huge discount. Don't miss that. And better get it before Daniel gets it, because it sounds like he's signing up. Last week, we had asked a question based on real life experiences of mine, and I'm sure many other people. I was invited to meet with someone about a bunch of different opportunities, and he wanted to meet at a restaurant, a non-kosher restaurant. And the question is what to do. So I was like, what if we went to Starbucks? What if we went to somewhere that's not as non-kosher, that is literally serving shrimp? But that wasn't really an opportunity. That's obviously the best route to go if you can. It wasn't really an opportunity. It wasn't really an option, excuse me, there. And so really my question was, on the one hand, and so if you can wear a baseball cap, that's also like a good kind of neutral ground if you can. But it wasn't really the type of meeting. This was a a business meeting with like suit and tie, like the baseball cap, like my orange NCSY baseball cap just didn't go with my orange suit.
And you said you are a fashionista. I get it.
As we mentioned earlier. So I got different opinions from different people, as we are wont to do in this religion. In the end, I did wear it. If I remember correctly, I did wear a yarmulke. I would feel so naked walking around without a yarmulke. Like I don't think I've ever done it ever. Should just do it. Takes one time. And I wore it, and I got a water. I'm sure I could have probably gotten a salad and checked to make sure it was all kosher and not touching other things if I really wanted to. But like salads, not in my diet. It's it's very unhealthy. And there was no sufganiyot salads that I could order, which is the only salad I eat. And so I wore one, and he said, "Oh, aren't you going to order something?" I said, "No, I have strict dietary kosher, observance, and it was great. In some ways, maybe it was a Kiddush Hashem. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
I'm not sure. I don't know if there's one straight answer you can get for this.
I'll tell you how to navigate this, Rabbi Akiva. I'm the type where I'll go back in the kitchen and they're like, let's find out what's kosher. Come.
But you wear a kippah when you do it.
Right. Well, if I didn't, I feel like I would be asking for the wrong reasons. So.
All right. Very good. Well, a quick question for next week is as follows. This is a real question that was asked this week. The question was, now, if you know a menorah, it is Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. Did we say that earlier? We should have.
I don't think we did.
Hey, it's Hanukkah. We remembered. We quoted Al-Anisim. Anyways, so you may or may not know, all the lights have to be equal in height, right? There's no candle, all candles are created equal. No candles are more equal than others. It's actually a beautiful metaphor, really, about people's souls, because the flame is allegorical for people's souls, and no souls are more higher or lower than others. And so, however, you might find some menorahs that are not made with this thought in mind, which is a real halacha, and you'll see some are higher, some are lower. It's different angles and whatever. And the question that was asked was, we have a menorah that is, whatever it is, about 100 years old and went through the Holocaust and has been in my family for a long time, and we always light with this menorah. And I just learned about this halacha that you have to have the candles all equal. What should I do? That's a tough one.
What should you do?
Say to this person? Yeah, well, we'll find out next week on the Schmooze.
I cannot wait. Rabbi Akiva, it is always a pleasure spending this time with you.
Great Schmooze.
Always, really. Looking forward to next week. Chanukah Sameach to you, to all of our watchers. Anyone who's made it this far definitely deserves it. Go eat a sufganiyah, and we're, God willing, we should have a lot of great things to schmooze about next week.
Amen. Happy